To take it to our panel, Rich Lowry is editor-in-chief of the National Review. Kurt Bardella is also with us today. He's a Democratic strategist, contributor at the LA Times and here at NewsNation. So welcome both. Kurt, you want to take up this uncommitted question? I want to get to that and a few other issues related to Michigan. How big of a deal is uncommitted in your mind?
I don't think it's a big deal at all, because I think that the group of voters that we're talking about right now, sure, they've made their point through the primary process. They're making a lot of noise right now. But when it comes to actually November, their choice is very simple. It's either stick with Joe Biden or try your hand with Donald Trump. I think that they inherently know anything involving Donald Trump is going to be just a no-go for that group of people. It's not going to be any better, certainly. So, they could have to kind of make that decision to make their point. They're being heard right now. The president and his team are aware of that. I think they're going to engage a lot more. But at the end of the day, I don't think that they think, at least, that those people will stay home in November.
I want to take up a couple of other issues. Rich, one of them is the union vote, not only in Michigan, but in some of these other key states that I outlined a moment ago. It's interesting that the president came out against that U.S. steel deal being sold to a Japanese company. So that's certainly, you would think, targeted at the union voters who've been supportive of him over the years. Let's listen to Labor's International Union of North America in their ad endorsing the president. Then we can come back, and I want you to tell me how it's really going on the ground. Listen to this.
With Joe in office, unions are strong and wages are up. Because more than any other president, he's had our backs. Now it's our chance to have his. Which is why LIUNA is proud to announce that we are endorsing Joe Biden for re-election in 2024.
Okay, that sounds like any other election year, any other Democrat running, but I know a lot of Republicans are making the case that the rank and file in many of these unions has been leaning and still is leaning their way. What do you think?
Yeah, this has been a big trend. It was happening prior to Trump, but Trump really underlined and accentuated it. The movement away from the Democratic Party of working class voters and the movement of college-educated voters, more affluent voters, towards the Democrats. But this will be a key, this interplay will be key in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And for me, if I'm a Republican strategist, what rings to me as the most false note in that endorsement is wages are up. All right, maybe they're up, but a lot of people don't feel it. And in fact, real wages have been declining for the last several years because prices are up so much higher. So that obviously that will be a huge issue in this election.
I'm glad you mentioned the three states together, because I will admit I was trying to build a drama at the top of the show by painting that scenario where it all comes down to Michigan.
You news guys.
Right.
So cynical.
Exactly. But the reality, Rich is right. The reality is those three states will probably go together, right? That Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, if you're betting, probably will either go red or either go blue. I mean, maybe not, but it would be hard to imagine that, they would split it up. I want to take a look at some numbers on this union vote. These are the past couple of, or the past election compared to the most recent polling. Okay, so the Michigan union workers, 2020, in the exit poll, if we have that, up 25 points was Joe Biden. Look at that. That's 2020's exit poll, okay? 2024, some of the most recent polling, it's a 12-point lead. So to Rich's point, the trend has been moving against the Democrats, Kurt.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is going to be, on all cards, a really, really close election. And so every data point is going to be hyper-scrutinized. I think that the case that Democrats and the president are going to have to try to make here is the last time that Donald Trump was in office, he gave tax breaks to millionaires and billionaires, not to you blue-collar working-class employees. He's not on your side. The Republican Party isn't on your side. I think the case that Republicans are trying to make is exactly what Rich said, which is, listen, for all the talk about the economy booming, unemployment low, wage growth going up, no one really feels it. No one really feels it in their pocketbook. The sentiment on the economy nationwide is upside down. It is negative. And there's that perception with reality connection that they're going to have to overcome. And so it's going to come down to who does the best job getting those messages out.
Okay, perfect segue to the last point I want to make about Michigan. You're right about the economy, by the way, Kurt. President Biden, pictures coming into us right now from Saginaw County. That's where he is today. So we can keep watching him there, but I'll just tell you, if we get a chance, we don't even have to put this up. The margin, we can keep watching the president. The margin in Saginaw County last election, 303 votes. That was it in Saginaw. Now, John Kerry won it by 7.5 percentage points, Barack Obama by 17, and then by 12, and then Trump won it, right, 2016. But last time, 300 votes for Biden. So, Rich, is that the type of place you know, where the Republicans are hopeful they can take states like Michigan back?
Of course, yeah. And, you know, Michigan traded hands, right? Trump narrowly wins it in 2016, loses it in 2020. And all these states, you know, Trump's victory in 2016 was very narrow. His loss was still narrow, a little wider, but I think people are fooling themselves if they think this is going to be anything but a nail biter on election night, with counties like that making all the difference.
Last point on that, Kurt, how do you feel about, again, counties like that in states like this as a Democrat?
I think that this is why organization actually matters. I think that the campaigns for president at this scale, it is a data voter contact operation. And so what I see what's going on right now with the RNC, with the fire sale they're having, closing voter centers, closing minority outreach, I think that's a tactical error. When I see Donald Trump out there attacking early voting and mail-in vote, I think that tactically handicaps their ability to get every vote that you're going to need. No one's going to change their mind that much from 2020 to now. Everybody knows who Joe Biden and Donald Trump is. Everybody knows whether they like you or don't like you. Like, it's about turnout. And so you need every mechanism in your disposal to be able to do that.
And the president's trying to do that today. We'll keep an eye on his campaign events there, Saginaw, Michigan. Our Rich Lowry, Kurt Bardella on the panel coming back later in the show. Thank you both.